pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Dolly, if you can do roll, please.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Present.
Councilman Cahill.
Here.
Councilman Abbott.
Here.
Councilman Dean.
Here.
Town Attorney Genesi.
Present.
Okay, we have the August 20th. Yeah, that was a regular town board meeting. That was not a workshop. We have the minutes that have been out to the board. Making a motion to have those minutes approved.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Well, I don't know where I was this week, but I didn't see who came in to look at the bills. Was it you, Bill? When did you sneak in?
Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock.
Oh, well, no, I was not there. I was playing hooky. Yeah.
I'm already at work, you just weren't, you know.
Oh, I was not in the office, yeah.
Okay.
What'd you think?
Now that we've established that.
Now that the world knows my schedule, what'd you think, Bill?
I reviewed the bills and found them in order and recommend that we pay them as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Second.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Very authoritative tonight, by the way, Patty.
I'm just speaking loud because I'm wearing the mask.
Okay,
I'm afraid
all
people
right,
may
I
not
just
hear
wanted
me.
to- Well, I did go over the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance, and I make a motion that we approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott. Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Okay, now the fun begins. I think Paul Adams is our finance director. Oh, you're back there. No, you're not. I think the board would rather have you give the explanation to what's going on than me, because we'll get out of here sooner tonight. So I don't know if you have. Where was he?
Is he mic'd?
Are you mic'd? Table? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, we found that Town Law 106, I'll just read it to you. It says, this is actually from guidance I received from the Association of Towns. It says that once the town board finishes reviewing the tentative budget, it needs to approve it and any modifications made to it. Once approved, the tentative budget becomes the preliminary budget, and the preliminary budget is what gets filed with the town clerk. And then eventually we have a public hearing to discuss it. So I think basically tonight you're just approving the budget as it stands today, and any modifications that we have made to it since the department heads presented their budgets back in August.
Yeah. Today is September 3rd. Paul, would it be safe to say that there is a lot of events that still have to play out
There is.
before this budget is finally approved?
Correct.
The thing that I am pretty happy about on the preliminary budget that we're about to make a resolution to approve is that it is under the 2% cap, is it not?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, the cap was about 568,000. I think this comes in about 566.
Yep. I think this was also posted on our website this afternoon.
We did.
For anybody who's watching at home on Spectrum 1303 or watching live stream, if you like numbers, you can go to our website to see what we're about to approve. COVID's interesting. I mean, we just found out yesterday that the practice of this town, which I think is a great practice, of putting it in the Webster Herald when the Webster Herald goes out to every house in town.
Right.
We have challenges with it this year because the Webster Herald has budgetary challenges because of COVID and advertisers. And It doesn't look as though they're gonna be able to mail out to all, town residents, so, every action has a reaction. We're gonna figure out how to still get out to, all the residents that budget, and it's probably through, the first Town Times of the year. That's what we're looking at doing, so. A lot of things to go until the end.
We'll have to put our heads together next week and figure something out.
Yeah. Well, then I am making a motion to approve the tentative 2021 budget.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye?
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Nay.
Councilman Dean?
Aye. Well, I want to thank Councilman Abbott because he proved I've said it's a rumor that we always vote 5-0 on everything. I said that is not true at all. Anybody watching? Thank you, Bill. You proved that we don't vote everything 5-0. Thank you. All right, next up, Joe Herbst. You want to explain this one? It's probably not a deep explanation.
No, it's not. It was the yield sign at Pathway in Creekfield. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have the agenda in front of me. It's a pretty simple one. Now that the north loop is finishing up on Pathway, the traffic at the intersection has become more important. And there's also a sidewalk and a crosswalk there. So just for safety purposes, it makes perfect sense to have the yield sign there.
I'll repeat that. Now that the north loop of Pathway is done of Arbor Creek, there's a lot more traffic at the intersection, and there is a crosswalk at the intersection as well. So it makes perfect sense to have a little more control over that intersection. So that's why the proposed yield sign, that came from the request of the homeowners as well.
Thank you.
It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We're going to delineate the crosswalk, which is not delineated, install the yield sign, and then put a children at play posting on the post itself. That's it.
Thanks. I would move for a yield sign to be installed at the intersection of Pathway Lane and Creekfield Drive in the Arbor Creek subdivision.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. Okay, next one is a resolution to declare the following as an asset transfer from the Webster Department of Public Works to the Webster Assessor's Office, a 2008 Chevy Impala asset number 3391. Paul, you familiar with this at all?
Yes, I am. I mean, Donna mentioned that she was going to be picking up a vehicle from Public Works. I think it's Don Houses.
It's actually Mike Geyer's former car.
Mike Geyer, who retired.
Okay. I thought it was
Why did they transfer it?
Yeah, and the reason I ask is that, is the assessor's office had an automobile in the past?
Years ago they did, but not in recent years, to my knowledge.
Yeah,
I think it was taken away a few years ago.
They haven't had one for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it used for? They have to go out and do assessments on buildings, decks get put up, that type of thing. So they have to go out and reassess the property when a deck goes on the
If
property.
you get your kitchen redone,
They
they come in and take pictures.
remodel the kitchen, they'll come in and, anytime they apply for a building permit, it affects the structure or something on the property. They have to go out and take a look and see what the assessment will change to. Usually it increases.
So what have they been doing in the past few years without?
There was always a car that they could go borrow from DPW,
Okay,
but it wasn't always available.
gotcha.
So now, they'll have a car available to them at all times during the
Okay.
day. And they don't have to go hunt somebody down in the
Right,
town hall to try and get the keys for it.
makes sense.
Yeah, Bill, I really appreciate that's the kind of explanation that I think helps not only the board, but also the people watching at home, and that's something I really have felt strongly about, is that at these board meetings that, we give everybody these explanations so they understand why these things are going on. And I want everybody to remember that. It's something I've been pretty consistent on since day one, and I'll come back to that later. So, well, then I make a proposed resolution to declare the following as an asset transfer from the Webster Department of Public Works to the Webster Assessor's Office.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Sorry, Bill.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye, but I think you have to name the asset number.
Oh,
Did I name it in that one? I know I named it when I first mentioned it, but
3391.
3391 is the asset number. 2008 Chevy Impala. Since I have a 2015 Chevy Impala, I'm sure the value of this thing is upwards of $40,000.
Did you say 4,000?
I would hope everybody knows I'm
Sure.
saying that in jest.
Aye.
The assessor's office now has a car to do all the things that Councilman Abbott just described in great detail for all of us, and Councilman Abbott is also the liaison to the assessor's office.
I would also add that it's a very frugal move in that we're not expending more monies in the budget to purchase a car for assessing. We're getting a 2008 car and making the best of it.
Unless, of course,
Chevy Impala.
you wanted to donate yours.
Well,
make a
no,
swap.
I kind of like my Chevy Impala.
You know, throwing it out there.
Okay. Okay, moving right along, we had, actually, we had one table item from last week, but when we described it at the workshop, we said that we would most likely come back this week, and it would be, we'd kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. And these are resolutions that have to do with the ash tree removal that has been very prevalent at these board meetings over the last couple months, as to the bid process and the all of that as far as what we've experienced with the, I think it's called the ash borer,
Yes.
right? Emerald ash borer. Yeah. So, well, Dottie, I mean, we had put this out to bid. You opened the bids as the clerk. The low bid, actually the only bid, was from Birchcrest. We were going to make an authorization, or a resolution last week to award the bid. We decided to table it because there were some aspects also from a standpoint, Charlie, I think, with their contract.
There were some issues as to the form of the contract.
Yes. And they have their contract, we have our bid specifics. We need to merge them, and you did. And you're
So
comfortable
those
with that?
issues have been resolved?
Yes. Yep.
Josh, everything's okay?
Yes, they have agreed to sign the contract that we presented to them that protects the town's interest, so yes.
And as a sidebar before this, Barry, thank you for the names. We talked about it last week at the workshop, but, nothing ventured, nothing gained, but nobody's going to come and get that wood.
Did you talk to him?
I talked to enough people that I got a consensus. They're like, good luck.
Yeah, okay.
So
Because of the bore?
they will lie for a lot of reasons.
Okay.
For a lot of reasons. We'll just say that the town will not pick up any revenue from somebody coming to get the wood commercially and turn it into firewood.
Okay.
So with that being said, first resolution, make a motion to award the bid for the ash tree removal to Birchcrest Tree and Landscape in the bid amount of $86,000.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
And now that the Honorable Town Attorney Charlie Genesi, who is getting his law degree again in the last 6 months, right, has reconciled the contract issues. I make a motion to authorize.
No, I'll make a motion to authorize the
Thank you, Bill.
supervisor to sign contract with Birchcrest Tree and Landscape for the removal of ash trees in the Park District and on town lands.
Second.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye?
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Well, everybody at home who just sat down with their popcorn to watch this meeting, we're at the end of our formal agenda topics. Certainly we do a round table of anything that the board members have to ask or say. Charlie, Dolly, anybody in the room. And while we're doing that, Karen, if we can put on the screen for the people at home, the call-in number, if anybody wants to call in and ask a question. It is area code 585-872-7011. And let's see if we get any calls in. I guess we could go. Josh, do you have anything to say? Questions?
No, just, you may have noticed that the Ridge Road sidewalk project is progressing along quite nicely. They're pretty much on schedule, and that should be wrapping up end of October, early November.
I was really surprised they were pouring concrete yesterday, and they got quite a bit down.
They certainly
For the
did.
rain. You got it covered too.
We had our update meeting today with them, and I learned a lot about laying sidewalks. Not enough that I'll be a competitor there someday, but yeah, they can get that done within an hour. It's rain resistant. I was surprised by that, but they got it down.
Yeah.
So, John,
No, nothing today.
no? Patty,
I have nothing to add.
I'm gonna come back to you at the end.
Okay.
Because we know what you got to say. Barry?
I got my school taxes today and paid them online.
Excellent.
Did you get miles?
I believe I did.
Good.
Where are you gonna go?
You can go to the casino next week.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Bill?
Nope.
Bill, I got a question for you. When I was saying earlier that I really wanted to make sure that everybody understands reasons why and educating the town. Do you mind elaborating on why you gave a nay to the budget?
I do.
You do mind? Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for elaborating on the car. And I guess it's your prerogative to take the fifth on not elaborating on the budget. So I guess I'll have to Karnak that tonight, you know? Why did Bill not like the budget? Is it because it's under the 2% cap? Probably not. Huh. Well, I guess we'll never know, will we? How about you, Finance Director Paul Adams? What got anything to say?
Maybe just a comment on the Birchcrest contract. Just to clarify, it is going to affect 6 different park districts. And then we have to allocate 56,300 affects park districts, and the balance of 29,700 is for trees on town land. So the bulk of it does get pushed to 6 of the park districts.
Mhm.
So I've taken a look at where they stand with fund balance, and actually most, 3 or 4 of them have plenty of fund balance to cover the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And the other couple, I've put them in the budget to raise some money for it, and if it doesn't quite cover it, we'll put some additional money in there for 2022.
I appreciate that, Paul, and I just want to make sure, one thing I learned early on was that the supervisor position is not an executive position. It's a hybrid, really, executive. It's more legislative. Main decisions are voted on by the 5 board members. I think, and Charlie, you correct me if I'm wrong, that my appointments are the finance director, the town historian. Is that about it?
You're administrator.
And Ken. Okay, that's correct. So Paul serves at the supervisor's pleasure, is that correct?
Correct.
And I'm going to tell you something, man, has it been a pleasure. This guy is solid. So where I think in the organizational chart the department heads report to me, there's some ambiguity there, potentially, but there's no ambiguity that he reports to me, is that correct?
Correct.
So if I decided to say to Paul, I don't want you to have certain communication that comes into you, you have to send that to your boss, I'm well within my rights to do that?
Well, I'll take that under advisement.
You take that under advisement. But, I mean, Paul, you've done such a great job.
Thank you.
And I like the way you manage your time. And I don't want your time taken away by certain things that I have seen happen.
Makes
And I
sense.
just wanted to make sure that if I wanted to go on the path to say that you don't have to communicate with certain people going forward, that I was within my power to do that.
I think you would be.
But I also respect you, and I wouldn't make that decision without collaborating with you.
Right.
So we'll talk.
We will talk.
All right. And I really want to thank you because I'll tell you, being an accountant from trade, you made my job a hell of a lot easier the first 8 months.
I try.
And the next guy that's talking should be kissing your feet because your creativity and going to the comptroller and all that really helped your budget this year, didn't it, Highway Superintendent Herbst?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
But you're going the other way.
No,
He
no.
was making your life nice and I was making your life miserable.
No, I didn't say that. So, Mr. Herbst, anything?
Good. I'm good.
Okay.
All's good.
By the way, on Wednesday, am I supposed to bring food at 7 a.m. to the highway garage?
I think breakfast pizza would be in order.
I can't, he's starting to go out
If that's your duty, you better pack a suitcase.
I'd go bankrupt trying to feed his crew. They're all
Yeah, you
300-pound linemen.
I think 7 or 8 breakfast pizzas would do it.
It'd be close.
One for me.
Man, I'll tell you, I don't think Two-Ton Tony does it on Wednesdays.
No, you have to call ahead, but I usually buy, but if I buy for the crew, it's 4 sheets.
Yeah.
And even then, there's nothing left.
Well, it's good weather, so I take it, I know my wife is out on a boat right now with the kids, so I'm sure everybody else is out, and that's why we don't have people calling in, and our 5 minutes are up. So Dolly, I can't imagine what you're gonna talk about on September 3rd, the day that the majority of Webster residents got their school tax bill.
Yes, and it appeared that way by the traffic that started to come to the town hall today. I mean, it was controllable, it wasn't
Escrow.
crazy, but we were very concerned about tomorrow,
Is there a reduction?
now that they have the bills. So we're still encouraging taxpayers to pay online, use our Dropbox or mail in their payments. I do also want to mention that there was an insert in most of the bills that went out, and that was actually created by the county, and there's some confusion. We started to receive a lot of phone calls, because people seem to think that it's saying that, call your tax office because you might have an additional amount added to your bill. That isn't what it was saying. It's saying that check with your location or municipality. There may be some restrictions as far as how to enter the building or not enter the building. And that's what the purpose of that insert was all about. But for some reason, it's causing all this confusion. So people are interpreting
It
it
was a little
differently.
confusing in that at first it directed you to, like I wanted to pay by credit card. So it said creditcard.monroecounty.gov or whatever. And when you went to them, then they told you to go to another website. And once you got to that one, then you got to pay taxes. And you had to be able to, you had to read it. And you had to find out the items that you were going to. And when it said pay taxes, then you had to go to another one, and it was school taxes. And once you hit that, everything came clear to you.
Right, yeah. You
But
had
it
to
wasn't
register.
hard, but it could be confusing.
Right.
Well, tomorrow morning, allotted from what, 8:30 to 11, I think,
I believe so.
to man the foyer. And just kind of read and react to see what kind of volume we have coming in and seeing if maybe I can do a triage of these people before they get to the reception desk and say, if you're here to pay taxes, have you thought about the drop box? If you thought about these other things, because we're just trying to feel out if it all of a sudden becomes a mass of people. That's a real challenge for us in the COVID era of sanitation.
Paying online, you're used to coming in and getting receipts that are stamped, paid, and all that.
Yeah.
When you pay online, you get an email
Right.
receipt that you can put right with the rest of your paperwork and
Yeah.
file away for your taxes.
So we certainly, I'm sure, have a plan to keep people socially distanced once they come into town hall. Do we have thoughts of limiting the number of people who come in?
We do.
Good.
But that's the problem, Patty, is that this is
It's all new.
it's a danged if you would
Oh, I
let
know.
do and dang. See, I'm saying dang, not, learn not to swear.
You darn too.
Darn. Because if there's a run on the bank, so to speak, and all of a sudden these people, I'm gonna have people standing outside. And I hope the weather's good tomorrow.
Supposed
Supposed to be
and cool.
And when it's a rainy day and that happens,
People get wet.
they're not gonna be happy. But we're trying everything we can, based on the communication mechanisms we have at our disposal today, to try to communicate with people and implore them, don't come to town hall to do this. But how many people saw that message? So, everybody got their bill today.
They did, and
Tomorrow will be a telltale sign.
when they call, we tell them that. Please don't
Right.
come in. Here are 4 other methods you can use.
Right.
So we're encouraging them not to come in.
Yeah. So,
Why do we collect the school taxes?
don't get into this. Councilman Kayla, you're good.
Legitimate
We
question.
almost had the meeting done without any real controversy.
Get the hammer out.
Well, it's long past 5 minutes on the phone call, so everybody have a great Labor Day weekend, and
And a safe Labor Day weekend.
yes, and thanks for all the hard work, and people are doing a lot of hard work. This meeting is adjourned.